Hello again. I'm not doing too bad. Bit on the tired side today, but getting through it. How about you? How you holding up? Oh, hopefully for a good trip. A friend of mine mentioned that she had a character that was kind of in the same theme line that I have, like with the whole like cyberpunk techie feel. And so she was curious if I had any ideas for outfits and stuff, and at some point doing like a collab or something and drawing them together. So I'm gonna see if I can come up with anything she likes. Hopefully. Trying to have a more chill doodle experience this time around, so I don't know if I'll actually finish anything, but it should be entertaining either way, at least for me. Yeah, we'll see. A lot of times, like doing character designs or outfits and stuff like that, it can be a lot of doodling something and then coming back to it later and changing a lot, but sometimes your first few ideas work out well. It's a playlist that I found on um, Spotify that I like a lot of them, but some of them I gotta kind of skip around because it's not one that I usually listen to on a regular basis. Usually I go to this one when my main one is I've listened to it too much already. I need a break from it. Yeah, this was a section on mine that popped up that was like a recommended list for copyright free ones, which are always good to have just in case, but most of them are pretty good. They're the. Let's see. I think most of these listed are under the NCS logo, like the collection. I know they do a lot of them, so pretty good actually. Most of them anyway. Spotify's record with recommending good lists and songs to me is probably about 50-50. There's some lists that they really nail it, and then there's other ones where it's just completely not anything I want that I like. But 50-50 is better than completely wrong, so. Yeah. Like the beginning ones of this list weren't too bad, but I tried skipping about halfway down, and some of them were kind of getting iffy. But we'll see how it goes. Too much skipping. Just gonna go back to regular playlist. Skipping around takes too much time away from drawing. Nah, I didn't bother really getting that in depth. Some stuff like that I just don't find really too worth getting. Unless I was writing like a full-on story, I'd probably try to do something like that, but just for like a basic like themed world for my characters, I ain't worried about that too much. No, that's fair. Never hurts to ask. Yeah, I quite like it. Stuff with a nice, like, fast kind of beat like this, but that it doesn't get too, like, repetitiously annoying. I really like those kind. It's a nice balance of all the sounds without them being too much. Oh yeah, how'd it go? Surprised but happy? Question mark. Well, I'm glad they were happy about it. Well, I mean, from obviously my own perspective, like, I would assume your elders would hope that, that you'd eventually be able to find somebody, so I would hope that they'd be happy about that. Eventually, everybody has to move on to their own lives. It's inevitable for all of us at some point. Yeah, that one will probably. I don't know. To me, that one would be more of a big thing to me. But yeah, that's. I'm sure they'll. Well, I don't know. It's a big choice, but I mean, if it's what you want to do and it makes you happy, or at least gets you to your goals, which I hope would make you happy, that's all that really matters. I should space that notice out more. Let's see. That's a little bit easier to break then. At least it's not like literally everybody. I've never personally had one, but I would assume so. Most of them that I see on sale are made of they're either very stretchable fabric or they're very like kind of light fabrics because they're obviously meant to like cling more. So I would assume that they're probably pretty comfortable. Good for every situation, probably not. But comfortable, probably. I'm kind of a mix. It just kind of depends on just how comfortable I am that day. A lot of times, though, I end up with just hoodies and fucking sweatpants or something if I'm just at home. Just the biggest things I can find so I can just be comfortable. But there's some outfits that are nice that aren't quite that baggy. No, it's kind of toss-up. I think one of my favorite clothing styles, which I haven't really had the opportunity to ever get or wear, is kind of like, I guess you would kind of call it like streetwear, but it's a style that I see more so done, I want to say, in like the kind of thing you'd see in like Asian music videos and stuff like that. Let me see if I can. There's one really good example of it. If I can find it. Oh, it's so hard to find a good shot from the video this is from. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. I don't know. I guess like dancey streetwear. I mean, it's kind of similar to what my character is, just not quite as tight of clothes, I guess. Honestly, same. I love darker colors more. Yeah. Like, me designing characters and stuff, sometimes you have to obviously design stuff that you necessarily don't prefer. So you learn to kind of have an appreciation for other styles and colors and such, even though you yourself would probably never be caught dead in them. Big influence, I take it. Just look at him like, you're the one that did this to me. At least you guys can sit there and banter about it and have fun with it. They always come out of the woodwork, don't they? Alright, where's my panel? Let's see here. Where's my band? There we go, band. I swear. Well, I mean, I guess as a quiet person, people don't really know as much about you, so they tend to, I guess, maybe just assume things or just guess. That eraser was way too big. Well, apparently you must have been putting off some kind of energy. Goddamn, I wish. It's wild to me how often they pop up, because, like, I don't get that many viewers yet or anything like that, but they just are already showing up. I think I've had to ban like 4 or 5 of them in just the few streams I've done. I wish there was a better way to deal with it, but like I don't. They're always going to be there, and I don't think there's any real way to solve it. No, besides just trying to manually get them every time. Pretty fucking much, yeah. Ugh. The first two I had were like that one was actually not nearly as annoying as some of the first ones I had. First couple they had the like quite large messages attached to them, and it was just a pain in the ass. Alright, let's see. What type of energy I give. I mean, I guess you just keep asking people's opinions of what they think when they first meet you or know you, I guess. I know I tend to be on the quieter side as well. Especially when I was in school and stuff, but I just didn't really care to talk to many people. So I just kind of floated around. I don't think many of them even knew what I was like, honestly. Nowadays, I really don't know what people, like, the few friends I have, what they would even say. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. If you can think of, like I said, think of like a song or something like that that makes sense. That's pretty good. I don't. I know I can be like very excitable and loud when I'm talking about something I enjoy, but I have tried over the years to tone myself down a bit because I know when I get too excited, I can be a little bit too much for people sometimes, which in a streaming sense might end up being more to my benefit, but in with my friends and stuff, I don't like to. I feel bad when I start chatting their ear off or unintentionally taking over a conversation. I also tend to worry about accidentally offending somebody a lot. Even though it's never happened, I always worry about accidentally making somebody upset, which I really shouldn't. I would agree with that, yeah. I just, yeah. I like hearing other people's, like, enjoyments and stuff, too. Like, it's really interesting to me. Like, so I guess I just have this thing where I just worry about, like I said, being too much for people because I don't want anybody to be upset or. And I think I tend to worry about that a little too much. Sometimes I feel like I gotta be just more myself and not worry about everybody else as much. Sometimes that can hinder you. You can't let that happen. I mean, that makes sense, though. Machinery and tanks and all that stuff could be really fucking interesting. I used to watch, back when I used to watch a lot of documentaries and stuff while I did art, when I had a lot of, like, NDA projects and stuff that I couldn't really stream or talk about too much, I would just sit there and watch. If there was no other people I wanted to watch or no videos, I would also do, like, you know, like I said, like documentaries because they're really good background noise. And, God, I watched everything from archaeological digs of different parts of the world to, like, machinery. I watched some on, like, tanks and planes and stuff. I don't remember any of the stuff for most of these, by the way. There was a few on, like, guns and weaponry over the age, like, just so many. But watching them at the time, like, even though I don't remember much, because it was mostly background noise, it was still interesting at the time. Non-disclosure agreement, which means that it's work that's, like, for, like, books, or if somebody doesn't want their, like, if I was working on a character design for somebody and they didn't want it shown yet, it's basically saying that I won't post it anywhere, I won't do anything with it to show anything until they approve me to do so. And that could be just, like, a short amount of time, or sometimes it, like, if you're working for, like, a book project or a game or something, sometimes that's many, many years that you have to keep that secret. I have one right now that I'm doing that's for, like, I can say it's for, like a role-play game book. I'm doing some of the examples for, like, what kind of characters can be made, but unfortunately I can't show any of it, so all I can do is say the general idea of what it is, and that's it. Yeah. But it's cool, because eventually I get to show it, and eventually it pops up, so. Usually, for the longer projects, it's frustrating in a way that usually when they do finally come out, I've improved a bit since then, so I look back at it and go, man, I can do so much better now. And I feel kind of guilty that, like, they got the old art, but it's like, there's nothing I can really do about that. That boot just does not seem like it fits very well. Do we even give her boots? She might just do better with, like, sandals. Yeah. It is nice to see the difference that you make over time, even if you're frustrated that you can't go back and fix it. It's always good to see that improvement. Sometimes I even look back at old stuff and there's things that I still like about it that I don't do anymore. I'm like, how did I even fucking manage that? Because I don't remember anything about how I did the process or anything anymore. Your ankles look so tiny. What happened? I have to think of some better shoes in a bit. It's not terrible. Oops. I feel like this needs something baggy on the top, but I'm not sure what. Could do like a, I don't know. She didn't really say she'd wear scarves though. I could do like a, maybe this a little bit better. 1 inch I could talk for a long time? I mean, art is definitely one of those things that I can go on about just because I can relate it to so many things because it's used in so many things. So I guess just like, I guess in general, just character design and just creating stuff, or art-wise creating like characters and clothing and concepts and stuff. There's a lot that goes into it, so I could talk about that for a good while. I do like talking about, even though I'm still learning about it, I do enjoy talking about games and what I feel makes them interesting. At least from obviously like my type of perspective. Like for instance, like survival games, they all tend to follow like the same kind of trajectory of, you know, you build and that kind of stuff, and like that's good. But like one thing I've always wanted to see a survival game that does a proper like underwater world, for instance. Like we have a bunch that do like, oh, you can build structures underneath the water so that you can breathe on, you know, and like have like a bubble underwater, that kind of stuff. Or, you know, just like general building under the water or traveling under the water. I don't think we've ever really had a survival game that's pulled in like almost like a mermaid-esque aesthetic. I don't want to say mermaid though, because you can make a lot of different creatures that could live under the water. But I always thought that it'd be really cool to have an underwater survival where you had people that were, again, either like mermaid-esque, or you could have them, and you could have different variations of that. I don't know. There's an entire realm there, I feel, that's like just unused. And if you really wanted to go into it, you could have both. You could have a survival game that has an underwater realm and the creatures there and the, you know, races there that you could be, and then have like the one on land as well. And just like the people on land can't breathe underwater or have to use some type of machinery or something to help them breathe underwater, you could do the same for the people that are in the water that might have like legs but just like have webbed feet or something like that. But when they get on land, they have the same problem. So you could have like each one be able to go into each other's worlds for a certain amount of time, but then they have to go back. And then that also opens up the idea of if you have like boats or travel on the water or land, you could have, you know, like trade and stuff like that. And for people that do roleplay or enjoy doing roleplay servers for that kind of thing, that could really create one hell of a world to be in. But I don't know how doable all that would really be, and maybe it's not doable in any good way, and that's why they don't do it. I don't know. But yeah, especially like for me, definitely like creating characters and stuff like that. I could go on a while. I'd hope so. It'd be, like I said, it'd be really cool. My friends and I that I have, and we really do enjoy those kind of games. We used to play Ark for a long time. We all have way too many hours in it. But the current state of what they've been trying to do with the new versions and everything, it doesn't really sit well with us. And then the servers we used to play on don't really exist anymore, or they're not as entertaining as they used to be. So we all kind of just moved on to different stuff because it just got too much after a while. Plus, we all ended up, growing up and getting jobs that take up more time, so we don't really have the hours and hours to spend on it anymore. I tell you what, though, I could build a hell of a base. Yeah, I don't know. For us, it kind of died when they came out with the quote-unquote updated version of it, where they did the whole graphics update attempt thing, but then charged everybody again for the game, even though honestly people that already had it should have just been free. And then all the add-ons and stuff they make you pay for now just to be able to use anything. Like, I'm fine with certain amount of like extra content for paid, but like they kind of going overboard a bit. And then they had the whole we're gonna make Arc 2, and really haven't heard fuck all from that. They've just been sapping the life out of the other one. It's like, I don't know, man. It's hard to support that. That's understandable too. When we used to play on roleplay servers, for the most part we would try to keep to ourselves. We'd always get pulled into something, and it was always fucking entertaining because we were never people always trying to start shit, and it usually didn't end well for them. But that made it fun though, having that bit of back and forth. I wasn't much of like the PvPer, but some of the people I was with were much better. Like I said, I was more the builder that just built everything up and put all the turrets everywhere and tried to keep our own shit safe. But I had a really good time doing it. And I could make it look nice, at least on the outside. The inside was kind of their deal, because they liked a certain way of storing everything, which is fine. It could certainly be entertaining in its own way. Oh, for this song? This song is one of the ones from Warframe that they used for one of their expansions, I believe. And, yeah, this one's from one of the expansions from Warframe that came out a bit ago. And they were trying to, the whole theme of that one was trying to replicate, like, the whole aesthetics of music and sounds and stuff from, like, way back in, like, 99. I think they did a pretty good job. A lot of the songs and music for that expansion came out really nice. Warframe's not a bad game, especially since it's, like, free to get into, and for the most part, you can really do most of anything without having to pay for anything. The only thing I really have a problem with it is that they tend to introduce a lot of mechanics with, like, their little expansions and stuff, but then won't ever touch them again. So they're just kind of there. And if there's bugs in them, while the expansion is the newest one, they'll definitely try to fix it. But then as soon as the next one comes out, or, like, it's been a while, they just seem to forget about them. But overall, though, it's not a bad game. I do have to say that the movement and like shooting and stuff in that game is probably, I don't think I've really ever found another game that did movement quite as nice, I think, as they do. It feels so good to jump around and just bounce off of everything in that game. Yeah, I get what you mean. Uh, if you see it blink, it's just me turning on and off a layer probably. And then obviously like I go back and later when I need to just go to the different layers and erase what I need to. But yeah, if you see it just blink really fast or something like that, it's just me turning on and off the layer so that I can quickly see what's what and where's where. Or just hide stuff that I don't need anymore. Yeah, it's definitely handy. Over the years, I've grown to very much appreciate things that digital art can do that actual pen and paper cannot. The amount of times I've been trying to go back to like doodling in a sketchbook or something, and the first thing I think of when I mess up is like fucking Control Z, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I don't have a Control Z. Sometimes, yeah. Depends on what it is, but yeah, sometimes. I think the most it happens to me is like certain family things, like things they'll do that just make me want to hide because I'm just like, oh my god. That's fair. I guess I don't get it so much with shows because for me, it feels in like enough of a distance apart from like a person or like a situation that it doesn't hurt me inside as much. But when it's like somebody you know or your own family, it's like it hurts you in the deepest part of your soul where you're just like, oh no, please, oh god. Technically, yes. It's one of their newer ones that they did in collaboration with League of Legends. I think they performed it partly for one of their championships or something, and they did like a music video with it. But it has the new like lead singer in it. I used to listen to Linkin Park all the time when I was in high school, which is along with other things too. But yeah, that was one of the big ones. Aw, I'm sure she didn't hold it against you or anything. Yeah, 'tis true. Everything keeps on moving. Hello there. Welcome. I am working on an outfit design for a friend of mine's character because she wanted to see what it would be like in the world of my character. Yeah. So we're getting through some quick line art here so that I can do some colors and figure out what kind of patterns I want on the clues. And talking about random stuff too, yeah. How are you doing today? Hopefully having a good one. Oh, hell yeah, free is the best price. What did they bring in for you? That sounds pretty good, honestly. For a free lunch, that certainly wouldn't be too bad. That shouldn't have gone off twice. I technically do have glasses, but they're only for certain circumstances. Because I have a astigmatism, so closer up, I don't really notice like the slight double vision that I have. But when I look at stuff further away, I do. So like if I go out to drive or like go or do anything that like requires longer distance and I need to actually worry about it, I have to wear them because otherwise I have like a very slight shadow of like what I'm looking at next to it. And I have two different kinds. One of them are actually kind of like the ones I'm drawing now, where they're kind of like longer-ish and square. And the other ones are more like the bigger square ones. The bigger square ones are nice for obviously if you don't want anything really getting in your way, but I think the smaller ones look better, honestly. My partner thinks that the big ones look nicer though, because he thinks like they give a cozy feel. Yeah, so basically, like, I mean, it does kind of create blurry vision, and I'm not sure if everybody's is slightly different, but for mine, it just creates I could try and draw it. So like, in the distance, if I see like a bird, it's easier when I like look at birds in the sky because it's far enough away that I can see like a definite like drift. But like I'll have like the main bird like that where you'll be able to see like it definitely it's dark. I know that that's like where it is. Oops. But then depending on how far away it is, sometimes if it's like really high in the sky, like I'm looking at like a hawk or something up there, it'll put it a decent ways away, like that far away. But it'll be just slightly like see-through almost because it's obviously like a double vision, it's like a shadow. And so I'll see that kind of following along next to it because it's a double vision of it. For stuff that's closer up though, it can make things seem blurry because it'll be like that, where like it's almost the double of it's almost on top of it, but because it's slightly see-through, it creates kind of like a shadow. So it looks blurry, but it's not actually blurry. It's just another like copy of it's next to it. It's fucking weird. That's also what causes though at nighttime when you're looking at lights and stuff, sometimes it'll have like really crazy like starburst, or it'll have like really bright lines that go through lights because it's reflecting weird off your eyes. So at nighttime I have to make sure to wear them if I'm like out in a car or something, because otherwise it's very hard for me to see when there's lots of lights around, especially when it's like raining and stuff too, because then you have obviously not only the normal lights, but then all of those lights bouncing off the wet ground also create a like annoying reflection. It makes it almost impossible to see anything with all the light. Do you also work on like computers a lot and stuff too? I know that's often what'll cause that. Oh, I mean, yeah, that had happened too, I guess. I didn't think about that. I know I haven't. Mine's definitely something that came on over time. But I know that the cause, at least for my astigmatism, is just that, like, my eyes are perfectly healthy. My sight itself is fine. Like, the lenses and stuff are fine. It's just the eye itself, I guess, is slightly, like, shaped differently. Like, it's not, like, doesn't have, like, the perfect kind of curve. It's a little bit off, which is what makes the double vision. Mine isn't super bad, though, so thankfully I don't have to worry about it too much. It's just certain circumstances, like I said, like nighttime lights, or if I'm looking at something really far away that I even notice it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. It's got a good beat. Oh, this is one of the Suiika models. I just redid the textures a lot. I think I've drawn on every single part of this thing. At one point, I'd like to make, well, if I could figure out how it works, I'd like to be able to make my own model, or at least make my own model art, and then have somebody else rig it for me. But I figured for now, this works pretty good. I'm still trying to learn how to split layers really well for that kind of thing. And then I tried learning the rigging software, but that was a bit much along with learning the model bit, so one step at a time. Thank you. It took quite a while to get all of it how I wanted it to be. A lot of trial and error. For a while I'd wanted to do like commissions and stuff for them because I was really enjoying redoing the textures, but I kind of gave up on that ever happening since the list hasn't been updated in forever. Well, the approved like list for people that can commission for it, so. Yeah, I wanted to have everything, since I'd streamed in the like a long time ago, and I kind of learned a lot of stuff from that. I wanted to come back to it, you know, years later now that I can, a little bit more prepared. So I made sure that I had like my layouts done for like my borders on my art stuff. I tried to, once I decided I was going to do like a model thing so that I could be a little bit more interactive with people, I saw her model and I was pretty pleased with what it had. I know there's a lot more coming out now, so I might at some point switch to a different one that has better options eventually. Unless I get around to being able to make my own, one of the two. But yeah, I got all that ready so that it'd be at least for the most part set up and good. I've been fixing like little things here and there as it goes, but yeah, I tried my best to have it all for the most part set up. It's trying to use my learned knowledge over time and watching other people to at least be somewhat prepped. If I could learn how to do everything, the only thing that would really cost me anything would be the subscription fee for the rigging software so that I could use it to make everything move. But I've had a hard time kind of learning that and obviously like making all the pieces for the model. So at this point, I probably would be better off just making the pieces and the art and having somebody else make it move. In that regard, it kind of just depends on who you go with. Some of my favorite people that rig models, unfortunately, are on the slightly more expensive side. More than likely, if I wanted it rigged by somebody that's been doing it for a while that does like really, really well, it would probably be anywhere between like, God, I think like $1,000 and $2,000 to have somebody rig it. There are people that do good that are less, but the people that I keep being really fans of they're kind of expensive. So that might be a far future thing. I think before that I'd probably look for slightly better tracking software, like getting an actual iPhone or something, because if I'm going to spend all that money eventually on a model thing, I would definitely want to have better tracking versus just a webcam. And yeah, they do, but after trying to do it myself, I can see why. And I completely understand it. I can't blame them for it. And like the art part too, like knowing that part myself and just seeing how many layers go into it, can't blame those people for charging a lot either. Some of those artists go fucking wild. God. I don't know if I'd have the patience to make my own as detailed as some people get. I am really curious though what my style, how it would look like being animated like that though. Yeah, like that sort of style would probably be what it would end up looking like. Be a bit more like that versus what I currently have. I should probably give the other person here reference on what I'm talking about. For context, this is what they're talking about with the pumpkin. It's from, I think last stream is when I finished it. But it would probably look something style-wise akin to like this. I'd be pretty happy with that. You understand? Oh, that does remind me. I did help somebody else with the. So they also had like a Suiika model, and I had we had just been friends, so I offered to do it for free since I couldn't do commissions for them. But that one, I really liked how it turned out too. Let me see here. Where is it? Archived, maybe? that it? Nope, that's not it. Where did I put it? It's here somewhere. Where did I put it? Archives. Ah, there it is. Oh no, I can't see any of my previews. Now I just got to find the character sheet. I see how the illustration works. Oh no, where'd I put it? I've lost it. Oh, here we go. This one shows, so like over here was the original kind of like sketch I did, where I took the base model, put all like the basic clothes that I was going to draw over, the textures I was going to draw over on there, sketched it out, and then I did like a little color mock-up for her. And then you have how it looks on the actual model itself. I think it ended up turning out really nice. It took a lot of trial and error to get the skirt part to work the way we wanted it to, because the piece that I needed to use for it has a little bit of, the way it was rigged has like some weird squash and stretch in it. So I had to like, the actual texture looks kind of weird because it looks like it's stretched in weird ways, but then when you put it on the actual model, it like fixes it. But it turned out really nice. I was very pleased with it. Definitely much different than obviously what I would do for myself, but it turned out really nice. I even made to add to it, because like I had, let me put another layer here so I'm drawing it. I had these like little dangles here in the idea, and they aren't on the model itself. So I made like a little item in my very little amount of rigging knowledge that I have. I can at least make things swing back and forth. At least sort of okay. So I made like a little pendant dangly bit that would swing back and forth so that she could have that effect on there. Even figuring that out took a while though. The first time I tried, that thing swung so far, it was ridiculous. it's one of those things you do when you're comfortable. There'll always be somebody out there to do it. I guess for me it would be, I think probably stuff more on the green or like yellow side. Just because most of the characters that I've done for other people or for myself don't really lay on that spectrum of colors, so I don't have a lot of experience with just kind of finding like really good harmonies and stuff with it. Like obviously I could. It would just take a little bit more research than like my normal knowledge base to figure out what I would want to do with it. But yeah, probably though. I guess like greens and yellows and stuff like that. Pretty much everything I do is on the other side. In terms of technical stuff though, using reds, like very vibrant reds, like unfortunately what I like to have for my character can be a real pain in the butt sometimes, because posting it to places like if you post an image on Twitter, it tends to compress certain colors really badly. It's been a little bit better off and on as time's gone by, but reds and like certain other really vibrant colors like that tend to compress or act really weird when you post them to certain places, or if you go to print them. A lot of times obviously that vibrantness will dull a little bit, so you kind of have to try and counter that if you're going to make it into like a printable thing, like a poster or something like that. It can be a little bit annoying to deal with super vibrant colors, but I love using some of them so much. Oh, color? Yeah. Um, I mean, there's a few tests online that you can probably find that if you think you are, you can, like, figure out what kind it would be. I think, I can't remember what the most common one is. I want to say the most common has to do with, like, red spectrum. Is it red green or red blue? Something like that. It's been a while since I've, like, talked about or seen anybody talk about color blindness, so I can't remember what the different ones are. So it's just like, oh, so it's just slightly like off what you think it is? sounds like it's similar to like regular colorblind. It's just colorblindness, just not quite to like the extent of actually being obviously blind to the color. But it sounds like it just kind of like messes with it slightly on you. Yeah, makes sense. that's gonna be it for me for tonight, though. I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, and it's starting to creep into the back of my skull. But, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh. What about characters in movies, fantasy, set in fantasy? You never know, they might. It's kind of what I always assumed. But yeah, I have to head out. Sadly, a bit of a shorter one tonight, but I figured it was better something than nothing. Let's see, save this up. I'll do my best. Hopefully the headache goes away before I have to sleep. If not, I'm sure the sleep will take care of it. Alright, you have a good one too. Later.